Hello, my name is Dejanay Barrett, and today this video is for one of my class assignments. I am in my third year in college, so I'm getting closer to my bachelor's degree. And this class that I'm currently taking, or one of the classes that I am currently taking, is Organizational Theory and Management BAS with Professor Dr. Brooke Coslett. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And this is assignment number 2. All right, so for this assignment, my duty is to, hold on, let me just scroll up. I just want to make sure I get the lesson. Oh, this is actually lesson 3, my bad. Correction, lesson 3. And for lesson 3, this video is for reflection and analysis, okay? So, for the first question, it states, what do you think are the top 3 perceptual distortions that employees are most likely to be affected by when forming perceptions of a new manager? Defend your answer. All right, so let's break down perceptual distortions first. So perceptual distortions, let's start with perceptual. That definitely means like a perception. And distortions could be anything that could be causing bad thoughts or conflict in a sense. That's how I interpret it. That's my perception of that. So, as far as being an employee and interacting with managers or interacting with other employees that have a manager, I would say I'm going to start one by one. So my first thought that comes to mind is possibly the employee feeling like they are not cared about. So if the employee feels like they're not cared about, their performance isn't going to be all that well. I truly believe that. Like if an employee feels that their manager does not care about them, I can't see how that employee will perform, and they might have a lack of care because they're not feeling cared for. So that is definitely a distortion there, and it can cause conflict later on down the line if it's not, um, you know, visited, or if that feeling is not resolved by an action. So that's something that should definitely be in the forefront of the manager's mind and the employee's mind. If you feel like you're at a job where you don't feel cared about or you don't see the value there, I mean, as an employee, you also have the choice as well. And so does the manager. You know, this is something that both parties have information in front of them that they should evaluate and analyze in order to move forward. And for the second, I would say maybe the employee doesn't feel like there is room for growth. So maybe if the employee feels like there's no room for growth, or they feel stagnant at that job, that can cause conflict as well. So if they feel like the manager doesn't create a space for growth for them, that can lead to employees wanting to look elsewhere. And that's completely fair. And I think as you grow older and you work in different industries, or if you're in the same industry and worked with different companies, you come to realize what's for you and what's not for you. And those connections do matter, but you have to make those executive decisions for yourself in order to grow, in my opinion. And for the third, I mean, it does come hard for me to come up with these. I mean, me working, I have experienced employees or heard what they think. But this third one, I'm trying to think of a third reason or third, perceptual distortion that can cause an issue between, the manager and employee, or the company in a whole. And all right, so the third thing that comes to mind, I could say that the employee doesn't feel appreciated. Like, there is no recognition. Finally, it came to me. I was working for it. I really was. The engines was going, and it finally came. All right, so yes. So the third one would be not feeling recognized. And that can be easily resolved on the manager's end. You can easily give them a card, tell them you appreciate them, or just write it out in an email or even a Teams ping. Like, just ping that person, tell them that they're appreciated for their efforts. Me being an employee, I mean, I've witnessed that or felt that recognition, and it goes a long way when you feel appreciated. And when you don't, it's not a good feeling, I'm sure. And it's just something that a manager should consider, and make sure that they consider their employees so they can continue to perform and do their best. And once that's the case, I truly believe it's like a domino effect. If one person's feeling good, even though the domino effect is like everything falling down, but in a sense, what I mean by that is everybody's like, I guess, falling into the motion of feeling cared about. Let's put it that way, okay? All right, so question number 2, describe what you could do in a difficult work situation to protect yourself from falling prey. Speaking of falling prey to fundamental attribution error. All right, so describe what you could do in a difficult work situation to protect yourself from falling prey to fundamental I said it right the first time. I'm not even going to do it. Whatever. Attribution error. Got it. All right. So, how would I describe that? So, in my opinion, I would just journal everything, make sure that I'm notating everything. I have been in a situation where I was being trained by a manager for an account management position, and it could have gone smoothly, but sometimes some people's intentions aren't where yours are at, or maybe there's just a conflict in personalities. I'm not sure, but my advice is to notate everything, have everything in writing, put down your training times. So like, what was trained at that time, and what did you learn at that time, and did you have access to that at that time or not? These are details that you want to make sure that you have privy to you in case the unexpected happens. And then you have proof. And I'll leave that there where it's at, because that's all it is to that. For me, in my opinion, you got to cover your behind, All right, so, and then for this third question, it says praise can be a type of positive reinforcement used by managers. List at least 3 additional positive reinforcements. I'm going to move this to the side for a second so I can finish reading it. Oh, it's a lot of words. Okay, let's read that over again. I'm just going to hold the phone right here. Praise can be a type of positive reinforcement used by managers. List at least 3 additional positive reinforcements that are used in the workplace. Of the reinforcements you list, which do you find most personally motivating, and why? I guess I'm a little psychic, huh? All right, because I kind of did discuss that or disclose that a little bit in number 1 as far as recognition goes. All right, so positive reinforcements, I do think that goes hand in hand with recognitions. So I would say maybe for a positive reinforcement, give somebody a card for gas, their commute to work. That would be nice. That's a nice positive reinforcement that would cause an employee to feel appreciated, and definitely I think it would boost their performance in a sense, or just make them appreciate their job even more, make them smile a bit more. If they're a customer service rep, for example, their glow or happiness would show through the phone. I think that's a great way to do that. Another way I would suggest is to do a Teams message, maybe a ping, tell that person how much you appreciate them, maybe even offer a bonus. People love money. So, not because they just love money, but it does make the world go round in a sense, and it helps alleviate any other stress, as far as financials go. So I would say, yeah, something like that, something along the lines of that. And creating a space for promotions. That's very important for employees. They value being valued. And once you give them that, it helps them grow. It helps them feel positive about their relationship with the company. So it's something worth exploring. All right. So, and this is the last question. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. You join a company where managers regularly reprimand their direct reports in front of others, play favorites, and encourage coworkers to report one another for making small mistakes. Based on Bandura's social cognitive theory, what sort of company culture is likely to spring from these practices? How would a new employee seek to get ahead at such a company, and to what extent would efforts to succeed in this culture directly benefit the company's shareholders? All right, I'm going to go ahead and read that one back again just so I can understand it thoroughly and also come back with a transparent and authentic answer, because I'm still trying to map this one out after reading it. It was a long one, that's why. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this again. You join a company where managers regularly reprimand their direct reports. So they are giving punishments, in other words, to their direct reports in front of others, play favorites, which is not very nice, and encourage coworkers to report one another for making small mistakes. That is definitely creating a hostile environment, don't you think? I think so, yes. So based on Bandura's social cognitive theory, what sort of company culture is likely to spring from these practices? What sort of company culture is likely to spring from these practices? To answer that question, I am not sure what kind of company would spring from those practices, because I can't say a company, but maybe sales. Signal, let me not say that. I was about to say the sales department, which I shouldn't say that, but I mean, it's kind of funny because they are, they're climbing to the top in that kind of regard. But I don't think it would be good if they in other words, snitched on one another, making the environment very difficult. So I'm not even going to say sales department. I was just saying that as a joke, so I take that part back. I don't think they would get ahead. That's my answer to that. And how would a new employee seek to get ahead? They could seek to get ahead by not doing those things and just doing their best and staying in their lane. If you ask me, that's my honest truth right there. So I don't think you should do anything that will cause people to feel uneasy in a work environment. Life is life as is. Don't make it difficult for one another, in my opinion. And it says, at such a company, and to what extent would efforts to succeed in this culture directly benefit the company's shareholders? So for this, it's about I want to say, is it a 2-part question or a 3-part question? There was a lot of information here. But, all right, so in this culture directly, what extent would efforts to succeed in this culture directly benefit the company's shareholders? I don't think it would benefit the shareholders either. That's how I feel about it. I don't think that it's something that a company should aim to do. The aim should always be positive reinforcements, um, good work culture where people get along, where people are happy and they don't have to look over their shoulders in a sense. So yeah, that's a complete no for me. But that does sum up my thoughts and my answers to these questions that were prompted to me for my class assignment. I am going to go ahead and say bye. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I will have it in the description. And this class has been great. And I love the information that's been provided thus far. And I'm looking forward to the course ending. Bye.